Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Tessie and today I'm going to be recreating this style. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome. If you're yet to subscribe, kindly do that and let's get right into the video. So guys, if you're following my channel, you should know how I drafted out this pattern. If you do not, just watch any of my video on bustier, you understand what I did. So a quick recap, what I did was my shoulder divided by 2. I came down to my chest line, bust point, under bust, waist, and then my bust. For the bust from the waist, I came down to 6 inches. So I took my nipple to nipple divided by 2, connected it, and for the that intake, I took 1 inch on this side, 1.5 on this other side. Then I connected it into a straight line. Then I connected the curve to my bust point line, coming down by ½ inch. And then I took ½ inch on both sides at the chest line and then connected it to the bust point line. So what we'll be doing next is at the chest line, I'll come in by 0.5. Then I'll connect that line all the way to the bust point line. Then from the bust point line, I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect to my under bust. So after doing that, I'm going to be curving this into the chest line. You just give it a sweetheart effect. So the next thing to do is to get the cup for this other part. So I'll check the difference between the bust point and the under bust. The difference is 3 inches. I'll be adding extra 1 inch to it. The reason is because the bust is fuller on this other side than on the other one. So I added extra 1 inch, that's 4 inches. Then from that point, I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect it all the way up. So guys, from this point, I'm going to blend it into the armhole. So just watch what I'm doing. So you just blend it in. So we're good to go. So what we'll be doing next is to chalk our measurement and then replace back the dart we took. So at the chest line, my bust divided by 4. I'll replace back the dart I took at this point. That's 1 inch. And then I'll be adding extra 2 inches for my sewing allowance. At the underbust, my underbust measurement divided by 4, replace back my dart and also be adding 2 inches for my sewing allowance. Same thing for the waist, my waist divided by 4, replace back the dart and I'll add 2 inches for my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead now to connect my lines. So now for the bust, I'm going to be connecting from the actual measurement all the way down here. So I'm just going to fold in the dart. So I'll fold in the dart and place it this way. And then from the actual measurement at the waistline area, I'm going to make a slant all the way down to the bust length. So for the neckline, I came down by 3 inches. So I'll label my cup 1 and 2 up and down. And then I'll label the yoke 2 as my front yoke. So guys, we're good to go, but before we cut, we're going to be taking our bust dart. So at the bust point line, I'll come down by 1 inch, then slant it all the way to the bust point. So we're going to be taking this part out. So I'm just going to fold it in this way and use my pin to hold that part. So I'm going to make this part straight. So you just blend it in, as you can see, and then I'll be cutting out my pattern. So guys, I also have a detailed video on how to perfectly cut out a corset. If you do not understand what I did here, if the video is too fast, just watch that video and you'll thank me later. So guys, after cutting out the pattern, this is what it looks like, as you can see for the front. So we are going to be cutting out the back quickly. So guys, for the back, I am not adding zip to it. It's going to be a loop at the back. So I have my shoulder divided by 2, my chest line and my half length. So at the chest line, I place my bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches. At the waistline, I place my waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches. So guys, you need to note that the half length of the back is shorter than the front half length. If your front half length is 16 inches, your back half length should be 15 inches. Hope you understand. So guys, I'll be taking out 2 inches for the loop. So I'll take out 2 inches and connect it all the way down. So we're going to be taking this side out. And then my loop is going to be starting at this side of the pattern. So for the neckline, from this point here, I'm just going to slant it all the way down to the loop area. So I'll label this part as my back yoke and then I'll go ahead now to cut out the back pattern. So guys, after cutting out the pattern, this is what it looks like for both the front and the back. For the center front and the center side, I want it to be a one pattern. That's a one piece. So I'm going to place it together and use my sellotape to hold it in place. So you place it together and hold it in place this way. So we're good to go. We'll go ahead now to use this pattern to cut out our fabric. So for the center front, to cut out the center front, you can either use a corset mesh or a skin tone crepe. It depends on what your client wants. Mine doesn't want a tummy area exposed, so I'm going to be using her skin tone crepe for this. So I'll fold it into two and then cut out the center front using my skin tone crepe, and then we're going to be adding our chantilly knit on top of the skin tone crepe like this. So I'll go ahead now to cut out the center front with my skin tone crepe and also cut it out with my chantilly knit. Hope you understand. So guys, make sure when cutting you leave half inch around for joining allowance, and I'll also use this pattern to cut out the chantilly net on fold as well. So I'll quickly cut out the net and then we are good to go. So this is what it looks like. So guys, we're going to be joining the crepe and the chantilly together, but before doing all of that, I'm going to add my paper stay at the crepe part and also add my bias casing at the crepe before adding the chantilly net on top of the crepe. So I'll quickly do that and show us what I mean. So this is it. I've added my bias at the crepe part and also added my stay at the crepe. So I'm going to be adding the chantilly net on top of it this way. So guys, after doing that, I'm going to pin it down and then run a stitch all around. So guys, I don't want the tutorial so long, so I've gone ahead to attach my ready-made cup to my cup pattern, as you can see. So I have several videos on how to perfectly do this. Just watch any of my corset video, you'll see the process there. So I'll attach the cup on the bodice. I'll stitch using half inch on both sides. After doing all of that, this is what it looks like, as you can see. And then for the lining, I've gone ahead to do the same thing for the lining piece. I also added my boning casing on the lining, as you can see. So what we'll be doing next is adding our yoke to the front part. So I'll place it this way and then stitch from this center front all the way down to the armhole area. I'll do the same thing here. After stitching, I'll place my lining on top of the main fabric, carefully stitching them together. So you need to be very careful when doing this. So I'll go ahead now to do that and then shows what it looks like. So guys, after adding my yoke and my lining to it, this is what it looks like, as you can see. So what we'll be doing next is adding the front part and the down part together. So I'll fold the front part of my fabric into two, and then the skirt part, I'll fold it into two as well. So I'll place the front on the skirt. So place it this way. Make sure your fabric is on fold and then sketch out what I have there. So I'll go ahead now to make the line visible, and then we're going to be cutting out, leaving half inch for joining allowance. So guys, this is what it looks like. I'll go ahead now to place them together and then stitch. So go ahead now to place them right side facing each other, stitch using half inch, and then we're good to go. So guys, after doing all of that, we're going to be adding the chantilly at the top part. So you fold your chantilly this way. Make sure you pleat it. You're pleating. So I'll go ahead now to pleat my chantilly and then stitch it at this side and then carefully arrange them and also stitch at the middle parts. So I'll carefully arrange them this way, stitch at the middle parts, and then after stitching, we're going to be joining the front and the back together. Then we're going to be stitching this at the front part of the fabric. That's when we are done. So guys, pleat your chantilly knit, stitch it and then stitch it at this side as well. Then carefully arrange it on the cup and then stitching that middle part. So you have to stitch it to hold it in place. And then when we are done joining the front and the back together, we're going to stitch this on the front part of the dress. So guys, I don't want to lay emphasis on how I did this. I have several videos on how I did the back, so I don't want this video too long. So after, guys, for the sleeve, I cut out the sleeve, added the sleeve to the dress, shaped my dress, and then this is the end result. This dress really came out lovely. This dress is not really my size. I'm a bit taller than her, so she's yet to come for fitting, but I just wait for you guys to see the fit. Hope this tutorial was helpful. Please do not forget to subscribe and also leave a comment down there, and make sure you like the video. Compliment of the season. Love you guys and see you guys in my next class. Bye.